wear your nurse outfit.
Yes.
Don't tell me your name.
Exactly.
That kind of, you know what I'm talking about.
Quality time.
Yes. Yes. Throuple relationships, they are not more difficult than a monogamous relationship, but they are different and they should be approached differently. Today, we want to bring you 4 tips for a healthy throuple relationship. And the last one, we consider it to be the most important tip of them all. And it's something that might surprise you. It's something that not many people talk about. Tip number 1, have a conflict resolution plan. Know that conflicts, arguments, they're going to come up, especially when it's more than 2 people in the relationship. Be prepared and don't wing it. Know exactly how to take action to make everyone communicative and ensure a good resolution of the conflict.
All relationships experience conflicts at some time, and knowing that that's going to happen and having a plan in place is very helpful to dealing with it, because those conflicts usually come up at just the worst of times. So it's been very nice having this document that we put together.
Our plan is very unique, and it starts with a very unique name. Shar, tell us.
It is the Conflict Resolution Emergency Action Plan, which we like to call the CREEP.
Boom.
For just ease, you know?
Just for the ease of it.
Wait, we're fighting. Let's go get the CREEP. This has been especially helpful for me because I have a more avoidant, like I tend to avoid conflicts and kind of like to, if something comes up, we maybe kind of brush over it and just kind of pretend like, oh, we're all good, right? So just knowing that about myself,
so the 3 of us have different styles of arguments, attachment, dealing with things. So this has helped us understand each other's styles and knowing how to relate to each other when conflicts arise.
Yes.
Like, what is it like? For example, Josh needs a few minutes to cool off, while I'm more like, no, we got to talk about it right now. If we're not aware of those issues, then we'll never resolve it. I'll think he's avoiding me. He'll think I'm being too aggressive with him. And the same, like Shar and I also want, like, I want to talk right away. And she's like, I don't want to talk about this.
I need time to process.
I may, if I don't know how she is, then I'll think, oh, she just doesn't want to deal with this, or she doesn't care about me, or whichever. So it helps me understand that she needs this and that I need to be considered and give that to her.
Yeah. So we are including a link to the CREEP in the description. And it is something that you really need to do before there is a conflict.
Right.
It involves it's kind of the part 1 is writing down kind of how you are communicating to your partners in writing, how you are in conflict, what you need in order to feel comfortable opening up, and what you need to help resolve things. So it's really the equivalent of having a fire drill. You want to know what to do in an emergency.
Where's your exit?
Way before there's actually an emergency.
Yep.
So having this it helps to move through conflicts so much quicker and healthier, to the point where you're actually resolving conflicts rather than just having conflicts.
Yeah, it's something that you basically only have to do once and then improve upon it as the relationship progresses and you understand each other better.
What I like about the CREEP is it's a very useful tool for taking, anybody can use it anytime. Go grab it, call the timeout in the middle of the conflict, and take some of the emotion out of it, because we're all emotionally charged at that moment. And then we can move it through a more constructive manner, getting through and resolving the conflict without
the intensity
of the argument in the moment.
Right. And how that helps is because when you're fighting, you're using that part of your brain that it deals with your fight, flight, freeze reaction. And by starting to talk about the feeling, you are using another part of your brain, which is your frontal lobe, that is the analytical brain. So you're basically turning yourself from the animal that you are when you're fighting and you're just reacting to a human being. And you have reasoning skills already again, and you are more capable of listening and talking about how you feel instead of just shouting, for example.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I have a tendency to freeze when there is a conflict, and I just like totally shut down. But we learned really quickly that a throuple cannot work unless everyone has a voice. With Josh and I, like we met so young and had been together so long, I could easily communicate with him. But when Liv came in and we didn't have that established trust yet, I had a really hard time opening up to her or saying like, well, you did this bothered me, or what did you mean by this? I had a hard time communicating that. So this really helped me to have a way of communicating things more clearly. And helped get to that place of having trust and working through what we needed to work through.
Another thing about this tool is it really helps with the quality, not that there wasn't equality, but there was that perception because we'd had a relationship longer that we had couples privilege, and I feel like this document helps remove that and shows it's the equal playing field of equality, why we're in the middle.
Right, because you two had your own way of dealing with your conflicts. And then I came in and I was completely, I had to learn and you had to learn how I deal with things. And that definitely created what you call couples privilege.
So even though it didn't really exist, there was the perception.
Right,
So
and it wasn't an intentional thing. It just, it was there.
Yeah, and if for any of our listeners who don't know what couples privilege is, we'll put a link in the description below that'll describe that. In the beginning, we had our conflicts just like any new relationship has, and we didn't have this document. So we developed this document, and after that, it's been a lot easier working through conflicts. We've worked through them a lot quicker and a lot more constructively. And I think, before that, sometimes conflicts would drag on for a day or two.
Right. Now they're actually really minimal if I think about it. Like they're barely there. If there's anything, we know how to diffuse it before it even starts.
Yes.
Because,
it helped us understand not just each other, but ourselves. Like I learned a lot just through the process of doing the document, like realizing what I actually needed.
Right.
And that helps me realize, how I process the conflicts and how I bounce back. So.
Yeah, it helped create security in the throuple relationship a lot faster. Like even just touching on the couple's privilege, I think initially Liv had fears that there was kind of some teaming up between Josh and I, just because so often we were on the same page with things, when in reality, it's just that we'd been together so long that we kind of understood how each other works. And having this process in place helped us all to get on that same page much, much faster, to where like when conflicts come up, they're resolved faster and there are less conflicts and more joy, more happy days.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they were necessarily fears as much as I was frustrated about the fact that you two did have a better communication process in place. And I was trying to figure out how to fit in and how to be part of it. And definitely that helped. And here we are now. We know if she runs away from me, I just chase her down and I tie her up and no, you will listen to me right now. God damn it.
Just don't expect me to talk back right away and know that it's not just me shutting down. And
yep. Yeah. So it's good.
Yes.
Make a plan.
Yes.
Follow through.
Yeah. And there were just things that I understood about Josh. I just know he needs that time to process and he'll come back, and you're getting even more worked up going
right.
He's running away from me. I'm give him space. It's okay. And so you'd get upset with me being how are you okay with this behavior? And I was getting frustrated with you. How are you not just giving him, some time to process?
Because, this is actually super important to talk about because it's how you were raised. We basically either emulate what our parents did in their relationship or we do the opposite. And I was raising my family. We were always we were never avoidant. We always get into it. We always talk about it right there on the spot. And when Josh was not doing that, I was thinking oh my God, you don't want to talk about this. Yeah. So you don't care and you don't want to fix this. So it took communication and understanding from my part to see things from his perspective or from Shar's perspective, and just give people space. It's not always about you and your needs. In this case, it makes more sense for me to wait a little bit and then come back and talk.
Yes. For me, I used to have a horrible temper, so it was a learned processing.
Right.
I need to take time out to cool down a little bit and think about how to handle this the correct way, not the way my emotions want to handle it in that moment. I don't want my emotions to dictate my actions. So just by taking a time out for a little while, cooling off and thinking, what did I do wrong?
Yep.
You know, first let's look ourselves in the mirror. You know, is it more important to be right, or is it more important to resolve this conflict?
It's more important to be right. Right?
And there's where our conflicts come from.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about me and what are my needs. It's about us and what are our needs. Working through that together and remembering it's not all about winning. It's about, or who's right or who's wrong.
Right.
It's about resolving the conflict, work through it.
Come at it from a place of love. I think I said that before. It's all about like, what is our purpose here? Not to win, not to be right. Our purpose here is to be happy.
Yeah.
Have a thriving throuple relationship.
Exactly.
If you find satisfaction in the content that we share with you, please hit the like button. It really likes it. You can't miss it. You cannot miss the like button.
Well, some people do miss it.
Don't miss the button.
Don't be the person
that
that misses. They
Don't
can't find the
it.
like button.
If you don't see it, find it.
Don't be the person
Look
that can't
for
find
it.
the like
Yes.
button.
Look for it.
Yes.
Don't be shy. Get in there.
And if you want to hear more content like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit that little bell to get notified when we have
Don't
new
forget
content.
about the bell.
That's
Ring
right.
the bell.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yes.
ding, ding. Oh my God, they're going to block us.
Yeah. And we got monetized for a day.
Yay! Then they took us down. Tip number 2, go all in the relationship. This is something that I personally have struggled with throughout all my relationships because either because of insecurity or fear or trauma or whatever it is, we all have something that stops us from going all in a relationship, like putting all our best out there and saying, I'm going to be by this person's side no matter what. And it's also important to have the right partner to do that with. You can't just go all in by yourself in a relationship. And when you finally find those people that are willing to do the same thing and put in the work with you, that is the moneymaker. Keep those people close and do whatever it takes to make them happy because you know they're going to do the same thing for you.
Yes. And I think it's hard to communicate that, especially early on, because you don't want to be that vulnerable. Like, what if this person knows how, if they know how deep in I am, what if I'm taken advantage of?
Yeah.
But once you do know that you found a person that you really do want to go all in with, really over communicate how committed you are to the success of the relationship. And I think there's especially a huge responsibility on the pre-existing couple to really over communicate that, because I think there's a lot more insecurities coming from joining an existing couple where you already know that our relationship works without you.
Yeah, right. So if I'm not going to work out, you two are still going to be happy.
Yeah,
and,
If this doesn't work out, there's any problems or whatever, it's like, well, we were good already, so you must be the problem.
Right.
Right. Or we don't really need you.
Yeah, or we
did it for so long. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you focus on things like, well, it would be easy to get that mindset. Like, well, if things were better before me, I can't rock the boat. What if they just kick me to the curb if I raise this concern or say that this isn't working for me? So I really tried, and Josh as well, I think, really tried to over communicate, like, no, like we are all in, we are in this for the long haul.
yes.
Yeah. How
There's
do we make this
you don't
the
have
best
an
for
exit
everybody?
plan. And like you burn the ships, just like Cortez when he came to the New World. It's like there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
This is it, and that's really helpful because when you get into really deep conflict, to realize that other person also is not looking at the exit door, that you're looking at you,
Yeah.
and the other partner's looking at you. We're all looking at each other like we got to figure this out. There's no other choice. We're just going to figure this thing out. And then every time we've done that, we've come through the other side of the conflict stronger as a throuple and learn things about ourselves and each other. So not once have we had a conflict and it been for it.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing to have such commitment. It's not only reassuring, but it makes you feel like you're living your life for something greater.
Yeah. The only way to really be yourself in the relationship and be that vulnerable with your partners is to not have the exit plan and to know you have that security in the relationship where your partners don't have that either.
Well, yeah, because if you have the exit plan, you'll never give 100%. You'll be like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, if this doesn't work out. Yeah. Tip number 3, quality time spent as a throuple and as a dyad, as individual couples within the throuple. This is something that we do on a regular basis. We think it's very important that we connect with each other, all 3 of us, but also we give time for the individual couples within the throuple to connect and get to know each other better and spend one-on-one time. How do we do it? What's your secret, Josh?
We try to all set up dates with each other. I think sometimes it's, like you said, important one-on-one, and sometimes we go out all together.
Yep.
Usually we go all out together on a Saturday night somewhere.
And we don't necessarily have a plan. It's like it's like organic, however we have the need to spend time with each other, all 3 of us. We mostly spend time, all 3 of us.
Yes. Usually on a Saturday night, we'll get a babysitter or something, and we'll go out to dinner, drink, something like that. And sometimes during the week, we'll plan dates for one-on-one, or we might plan dates for the other 2 partners and offer to sit back home and watch the kids. So, even though we're a throuple, the one-on-one time is very important, I think, for connecting individually as well.
Yeah. And even though things aren't necessarily pre-planned way in advance, it is really important to have that intentional quality time. You get incidental quality time all day long, a few minutes in bed at night before falling asleep,
right.
Or like Liv and I will get some quality time while we're making dinner before the kids get home. But having that intentional quality time where you're actually, even if it's at home, like, hey, let's make a cup of coffee and sit on the patio and talk for a little while.
Doing together things that we all enjoy brings us closer together. Like sharing little things, whatever it is. Like we go to escape rooms or go have a drink. We enjoy elegant, fancy cocktails. These are little things that bring us closer together and build our bond and relationship stronger. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just sitting at the bar here at home and having a drink, or out in the patio, or hot tub time when the weather
permits. It doesn't have to be something like extravagant.
Yeah, but having something planned, something on the calendar, something where you're like, okay, we are going to meet at this place at this time,
right,
to connect.
Wear your nurse outfit.
Yes.
Don't tell me your name.
Exactly.
That kind of, you know what I'm talking
Quality time.
Yes. Yes. Tip number 4, and the most important out of all of them, is personal growth. The throuple can only be as strong as the individuals within it. And that is a fact, and it applies to any type of formation, being a relationship structure or a herd out there in the wilderness. You are only as strong as the individuals within your group. Growing as a person means identifying your weaknesses and trying to eliminate them. You're always going to have something to work on. Like from my experience, it's always I fix something and I find other things, but that makes me better and better and better. Why is personal growth the most important thing? It's because the throuple relationship, if it doesn't work because of jealousy, insecurity, lack of communication. These are all personal issues. Mm-hmm. They're not really a throuple issue. It's just something that gets stirred up in you when you start dating another person or your partner dates another person. So it's all you. It's you.
If even just one person in a throuple is not completely committed to personal growth, I won't say that the throuple can't work, but you're going to have constant issues that you just don't need to have. So it really, really is the key to having a thriving, healthy, fulfilling throuple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't you feel though, like if 2 partners are working on themselves, it would, like, the third one can't really not? Because you see what they'll be like if you 2 were going to the gym.
That's true.
And I wasn't, I'd be like, man, I need to go to the gym. Like, you kind of feel either inspired or...
That's true. And that's the benefit of being in a throuple versus being in a couple. Because I have been in relationships where I'm the one that I always go to the gym, but I have had partners that did not go to the gym. They went to the gym at the beginning, and then when they got all complacent, they stopped going to the gym. And if it's one against one, it's not always going to work. I've met many, and Sarah, our guest on the other episode, she said, like, I'm going for walks and I'm taking care of myself. You're not doing anything and you're complacent. But when you have 2 people against one, then it's going to happen.
Yes.
This is why being in a throuple, it's better than being in a couple
It
for
does
me.
not allow
Yes.
complacency.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it's a given either, though. Like, I think just because two people are totally committed, I don't think it's just a given that the third will. It's easier if everyone truly is all in, then that's going to probably inspire everybody. You know, it's that whole rising tides lifts all ships. But if you have an issue that you're just unwilling to face, you have deep-seated insecurities or whatever it could be. If there's even just one thing that you see in yourself that you're not willing to fix, it's going to bring the whole throuple down. So yeah, it's something where you don't have control over your partners not being willing to face things in themselves, but you do have control over yourself. And every little bit that you do for yourself is going to make the other relationships better. So just knowing that helps a lot.
Yeah, take responsibility for yourself and take responsibility for the relationship. What are some of the things that we do for ourselves that in the long run actually help the throuple?
One thing that's huge for me is just prioritizing my health and fitness. Like when I actually get to the gym on a regular basis, it's not even about like physique or anything like that. It's just the endorphins start flowing and I listen to my music and I
Queen
usually, you know it, love Queen Herbie. I love you if you ever watch this. And then if I'm doing cardio, I usually listen to an audiobook or something. And when I don't make it to the gym on a regular basis, my mental health starts to suffer for it. And then I'm not the partner that I could be. So just prioritizing that for me and then making healthy meals so that my brain is fed and the family is fed.
And for me, it's mental health. To take care of my mental health, I also go to the gym. It's where I like to burn off steam. I like to eat healthy and I like to feed my mind and try to read 1 or 2 books. I don't read fiction or anything. It's always something new I want to learn, something I want to improve on, pick something that I don't like that I can improve on for myself so that I never stop growing and being a better partner for my partners and for my family.
One of the things that I do that really helps as far as the relationships go is I try to focus on what is working for the throuple and for us. But then I also have a lot of introspection for myself. Like, what are ways that I want to grow? What are ways I could improve? Like we were talking about the conflicts. If there's a conflict, is there something I could have done better? Even if I didn't necessarily do anything wrong, like I have learned as being a part of this throuple that I am a terrible communicator. So I read books that help me to learn how to communicate better or watch YouTube videos. So just stuff like that. And then also when I see the things in myself that I need to change, it helps me have a lot more grace with you guys, with my partners, because if I'm just focusing, it's easy to focus on what you guys need to change. You know,
Right.
The whole
Seeing the bad in other people.
Yeah. You see the speck in your neighbor's eye and miss the log in your own eye. So when I see what I can be working on, it's a lot easier to have grace and actually focus on the good things.
That's a good point.
With the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know sometimes you guys think I'm crazy because I was chasing just over the hill, one more little goal that I have at the gym. And you guys are like, you look good enough. You already have a 6-pack, whatever. It's like, but this 6-pack gets me out of a lot of trouble. It gets me out of a lot of fights. It's like every time an argument starts, I just have to take the shirt off. And it's like, what's that?
What?
And
like this morning when you were trying to have a meeting without a shirt on.
yeah, it didn't really work.
It's very unproductive. It's very unproductive.
I'm very sorry about that.
I think we need to file a grievance.
Where is the grievances office?
I got somewhere you can put it.
I got something where you can put it.
I feel very fortunate that all three of us are very, growth is very important to all of us. And we're always trying to grow and we're always trying to help each other grow or introduce each other to new ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that inspires us all. So
it does. Yeah. I'm far better now than I was before being in a throuple. I'm a healthier person and my relationships are healthier and just all around, even relationships outside the home, relationships with friends and extended family and everything. Every area of myself and my life has improved.
Thank you for helping us normalize alternative relationship structures by liking, subscribing, and sharing our videos with people just like yourselves.
If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and feel free to leave us a comment letting us know what your favorite part was.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Shit, I'm on camera. Don't you put this on me.
Put it in front of us.
I think it'd be hilarious.
Put it back in front of Char's camera. There you go. 1/4 inch up.
No,
This is how you hit the like button. The algorithm really, really likes it. Oh, you got 2 fingers.
I do too.
2 fingers. Algorithm
That's
likes it.
That's it right there.